Simon Gawesworth from Real Products here. Today on the wonderful fishery called Ibrook in the Midlands of England. And we're going to show you a little bit about how to fish dry flies in lakes. When you fish dries in lakes, tend to want to fish 2 to 3 flies, usually on dropper arms. You like to mix up the colours, so clarets are very good colours for dry flies on lakes, oranges are good colours, olives are good colours, and blacks. If you're going to fish a team of 4, I'd fish a team of 4 flies around those colours, varying sizes, but usually 10s to 12s are about your go-to sizes. I tend to fish, when the water's relatively clear, I tend to fish 4 to 5 feet between my flies, and when water's murky, I fish them a little bit closer. And the reason being, we're fishing dry flies because the fish are rising, and when a fish rises, generally speaking, in a lake, they swim upwind, and you target them. So when you see a rise, our idea is you want to cast your fly in front of that fish on the upwind side and try and cast one of your flies in front of it, and the fish will move on and grab it. A couple of things to note. First of all, I like to fish it on 3X tippet or 8.5 pound fluoroflex. I like a fluorocarbon. This is the one we make at Rio called the Fluoroflex Plus. It's a very strong, very supple one, so it's perfect for dry fly fishing. 8.5 pound might seem strong, but there's some strong fish in the reservoirs. You don't want to get broken off, and so I think 8.5 is a really good strength. Maybe if it was flat calm, I'd go down to 6 pound, but we've got a bit of a wave out here today and a bit of a chop, so 8.5 pound is a good strength for that. And very important is that you make sure your flies float, otherwise you just get really frustrated. You won't be able to see your flies. And I just like to coat my flies in some kind of silicone fly floatant. This is Loon's or Quell, but anything that's a kind of a silicone fly floatant is ideal. You kind of just mush it into the feathers there and just work it in. And that will waterproof the feathers of your fly and make them stay up quite a bit. Every now and then, they're going to get waterlogged. You might catch a fish, we get some slime on them, that will pull the flies down, or the flies become waterlogged. And when that happens, another thing to have with you in your boat is a shake. You can kind of hear that. This is Loon's Top Ride. It's a dry powder shake, and it's a desiccant, which means it sucks water out. So when your flies are wet, you basically pop them in there, shake them around for 10 or 15 seconds, and that sucks the moisture out and makes them float again. My leader I've got on here is about 12 or 14 feet. As I said, I've got 3, 4 flies on here. When we fish this style, you go out and you just basically look for rising fish. You'll fish blind most of the time because you're not always going to be lucky enough to have fish rising. But when a fish rises, all you do is make sure you cover upstream of it, watch the flies, and most important of all, have patience. When a fish takes that fly, you've got to wait for the fish to take the fly and go down, and it's just more of a lift than a set, more than a strike. So bear that in mind, get out on the lake, throw your dries, watch the dries, have patience. So that's in a nutshell how you fish a reservoir with a set of dry flies. Got perfect conditions for it today, so let's go out and catch some fish.